Are you over the age of 50 and looking for adventure in southern Arizona? Then look no further than the Town of Marana Senior Program, which offers monthly day trips to various destinations such as Tombstone, Apple Annie's, Wilcox, Queen Creek Olive Mill, Dolly Steamboat, and more. Join the adventure and meet new people while discovering everything our beautiful region has to offer. Learn more about upcoming trips by visiting maranaaz.gov/team senior.
Celebrate our local first responders at National Night Out on Saturday, September 21st at 5 p.m. at Crossroads at Silverbell District Park. Watch Marana PD and Northwest Fire go head-to-head in an exciting kickball game, explore first responder vehicles, community safety resources, and enjoy family fun with inflatables, food trucks, and a movie. For more information, visit our website at maranaaz.gov/recreation.
Welcome to Real Talk with the Town, where I sit down with Marana staff to answer your burning questions about our beautiful community. My name is Terry Roseman. I'm the town manager for the town, so let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Talk with the Town. My name is Terry, and I am your host, and today we're going to be talking about code enforcement. And we have in the studio today with us Lisa and Lori. Lisa and Lori, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what it is you do for the town? Let's start with you, Lisa.
Oh, hello, Terry. I am Lisa Schaefer. I'm the Community and Neighborhood Services Director for the town. And our department has code enforcement. We have animal services. We have our CDBG, which is our Community Development Block Grant Program for housing rehab and utility assistance. And we do just outreach with the community.
Yeah. So, you're dabbling in a little bit of everything, Lisa.
We definitely do. If you don't know where it goes in the town, I kind of think it goes to our department. So.
And your right-hand person over, actually, she's sitting on your left, but she is your right hand. And that is Lori over here. Lori, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what it is you do for the town?
Hi, I'm Lori Shepard. I am the Chief Code Enforcement and Animal Control Officer Supervisor for this unit, and I work with Lisa and her crew. We kind of all work together and make this work as a group, team effort. So I oversee code enforcement and also animal control.
All right, very good. Now, Lori used to work for the police department, right?
I knew that was coming up.
You did. Right on. Well, and I was the chief there, and I don't know how this happened, but for years, I tried to get Lori to test to be a sergeant, and she wouldn't do it. She goes over to animal control and code enforcement, and the next thing you know, she's a supervisor over there. So I guess Lisa has better powers of persuasion, or what was it?
I think there was just a big hole when Bill Lorfus left.
Okay.
And it was a matter of who wants to do this or not. And I didn't want to have somebody outside come in. So I said, hey, I'll step up. There we go.
So fear of supervision by somebody you don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Now we got it. Well, hey, we always start off with an icebreaker. And I thought we'd start off, since animal control is part of what you guys do, talking about perhaps either your favorite pet you've ever had or animal you've ever had, the strangest one. I'm going to start off, actually, if you don't mind. You guys okay with that?
Absolutely.
So I just inherited from a neighbor of mine a tortoise, and I love this tortoise. He is a desert tortoise, and he only has 3 feet. One of his back left foot is gone. I don't know what happened to it. Somebody got a hold of it, and he didn't get the leg in there inside the cocoon. Well, it's not a cocoon. Inside, what do you call those things? Shells. Yeah, inside the shell in time, and so now he's missing a foot, and I absolutely love him. He doesn't bark. He doesn't jump on me. He doesn't run around inside the house and get hair anywhere. He's the perfect pet. So I absolutely love him. I only had him for about a week now, but he eats strawberries out of my hand, and he smiles when he does it, and it's a beautiful thing. So, all right. So, Lisa, let's jump over to you. Either strangest pet, favorite pet, whatever. What do you got?
You know, I've always been a dog person, so I've always had plenty of dogs, but when my boys were little, of course, we had every reptile you could think of, other than snakes. Don't do snakes. And with the reptile show coming up in Tucson, it's a plug for that. But those are fun. So we've always taken them to the reptile show, and so I really started enjoying lizards. Now that they're grown, I really enjoy feeding the wild birds and seeing all the lizards outside. So I do have a tendency to feed the birds twice a day. They come up, they wait for me, and probably one of my favorite birds was a quail with one leg, called him Solo.
Okay, so now we got like a theme going here. A one-footed turtle, a one-legged quail, and you call him Solo. We call our turtle Trey, by the way.
Trey. Good.
Because 3 legs.
3 legs.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Back to one-legged quail Solo.
Yeah, he was great. And he could, quails run for the most part. They don't fly very much at all. So he could run just as fast as the others. So I enjoyed every day watching Solo hop over to be fed by all the bird seed that went out. So he really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Solo didn't last the whole season. Maybe I just tell myself he went to somebody else's house, but hoping that that's
No
the
doubt
case.
he did. No doubt he did.
Hoping that's the case. So, but yeah, he's probably been one of my favorite stranger
All right.
pseudo pet.
Very good. So, Lori, what do you have for us? Favorite pet, strangest pet? What do you got?
We're talking about one, right? Like one leg's gone.
Okay.
One leg, he has one leg.
Okay.
Well, mine's like one also. I have a cat that has one eye. So there we go. This
Cat
is a
with
theme,
one
right?
eye.
One eye.
So does he have a patch over his eye?
No. What we had was
Because that would be cool, because you can call him Patch.
I know, right? But her name was Princess, so this is totally off theme, right? Mm-hmm. So we actually rescued her from a pet store. She had been sitting at the pet store for like many, many months. Nobody wanted her. She had like a glazed look over her eye. And so we went in, we liked her, so we went in and grabbed her, and we said, what happened to the eye? Was it like something hereditary, or was it something that happened, where she was growing up or got poked? And apparently, I guess she had a severe eye infection when she was kitten, as sometimes we do see in animal control a lot, where kittens have like the mucousy eyes or goopy eyes or something. So I guess she had that when she was little, and it was infected and it got so bad that they couldn't fix it for her, and it kind of just caused like a cataract look, overgrowth on her eye. They said I could fix it, but it would be many, many dollars, which at the time I was just a college student and I didn't have.
Yeah.
So we kept her that way, and you would think she would run into walls or walk sideways.
She figured it out, just like the
No,
one-legged quail.
She was absolutely mobile, right? She traveled down the hall, chased little balls, anything you threw at her, so she was happy. But the thing I liked about her was every day when I came home, she would jump up on the bed and meet me at the bed, and she would just be ready to love.
Yeah, very cool.
Very neat.
All love our animals, right? Well, today we have a question that actually came that kind of prompted this entire episode that starts with code enforcement. We're going to talk about it all, I think. So here's the question. I'll read it off to you. It says, I've seen some code enforcement pickup trucks around town. What do they do? Do they enforce parking laws and rules? If they do, they would be busy in Gladden Farms. Do they have a phone number that the public can call? Okay, so this one's talking specifically about our code enforcement staff. And we have how many code enforcement people here working for the town?
We have 2 full-time code enforcement officers and then myself, so a total of 3.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about, because this person is asking, I've seen these code enforcement, what do they do? So let's talk about the general responsibilities. What kind of codes are they enforcing? Well,
we do a gamut of them. I'm going to just say they call us the junk drawer of the code. But we're talking about parking here because they brought that up. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We do some parking code enforcement, but it's mostly the town regulates on-street parking, so you can park on the streets. We don't enforce on that. However, the ones that code deals with is more like your inoperable vehicles, your junk vehicles, those abandoned vehicles that are left on the streets without the license plates or whatnot. Then yes, we will go out, take a look at them, try and see if we can find the owner, and kind of figure out, hey, what's going on with the vehicle? Why are you parking? Why is it here? How long has it been here? And then we kind of go down that path.
Okay, so if I live in Gladden Farms, I can have a vehicle parked out on the street. That's okay by town code. Now, the HOA may be a different thing. That could be what this resident is talking about. They could be
Correct.
talking about people parking on the street and it's not allowed by the HOA. But that's not something you guys get involved with.
No,
Right,
that's their CC&Rs. Yes.
That's CC&Rs. That's not town code. That's not state code. That's not.
Correct.
It's not any other code. It's just the CC&Rs, and the HOA deals with that. Your folks do not deal with that.
Correct.
But if the car is parked on the road and it's on blocks,
Yep.
not registered,
Yep.
right, or it's parked in the front yard on blocks,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We can't have that.
No engine.
No
Yes.
engine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's some of the stuff. What other kinds of codes are you looking at?
Okay, we
taking
also deal with tall vegetation, weeds, grass, overgrown trees, stuff like that on properties. Mm-hmm. So we kind of look at that. We do blight, where we have a lot of trash, garbage, debris.
Okay, so let's take a step back and talk
Okay.
about this vegetation stuff that you mentioned here. So if I don't trim my trees right, you guys are going to come by and say, "Hey, that doesn't look very sightly. You need to trim that tree up."
No, we
No,
look at
okay.
the trees that are blocking visibility, like signage
Okay.
or anything like that would be a hazard.
Okay.
So no, we wouldn't come in and tell you need to trim the palm trees in your house or anything like that. It would just be if it's blocking the signage on the street or the stop signs or any kind of visibility of a corner, like the bushes hanging out, overgrown, you can't see when you need to make that right turn or left turn.
Gotcha. So this is the time of year when you guys are really busy during the monsoons, because when the rains fall, so in the spring, when everything's popping up, and then again in the monsoon season, everything's popping up again. You guys are super busy. So you're dealing with all these weeds that are, 12 inches, 14 inches, 34 inches tall, right, in people's yards and people's properties. And as I drive around town, I see a lot of it. So you guys must be busy with that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
You've got the seasons right.
Yeah, I got the seasons right. So, what? But why? Why is the town worried about weeds in people's yards and properties?
Well, you look at it as if we allow it to continue and be unsafe for your health and welfare of the communities. Also, people that are moving and going to move into the town and live here, we want them to have a clean, enjoyable environment to move into and say, hey, I really want to be here, live here, and be a part of this community because it's well maintained and upkept. We don't want somebody who's going to come in and it looks like nobody cares to live in there in that property and just allow it to happen. We're looking at the welfare, the safety of the community as well.
Have you heard? Marana has unforgettable festivals and events. From parades to fireworks, rodeo competitions to light shows, we'll show you a good time. Learn more about the Marana Signature Event Series by visiting maranaaz.gov/events.
Property crimes are often the result of opportunity. You can take action to help reduce crime by starting a Neighborhood Watch program. Neighborhood Watch serves as a guide for more eyes and ears in your neighborhood. Contact the Marana Police Department Community Resource Unit at 520-382-2055 for more information.
Do you have a need for speed? Whether you want to improve your race time or just have fun, the Run Marana series has something for everyone. Choose your challenge and sign up for one of the 5 races held throughout the year. Visit maranaaz.gov/run to sign up. Your speed, your run, your town.
And appearance makes a difference in a community, and somebody who is in your profession as long as you were in the law enforcement profession, you would always talk about broken window stuff and,
Yep. Good analogy.
making the properties look as desirable as possible, because when they look run down, worn down, broken down, that's when it attracts what?
All kinds of people we don't want.
Exactly. Criminals end up showing
criminal
up.
element.
Yeah, the criminal element.
Yeah, we have all kinds of things. People moving in,
Yep.
living in places and empty, abandoned places and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Not something
houses,
we want.
graffiti, all kinds of things start to develop out of that besides just
Yeah.
the weeds.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good thing. So, Lisa, let's go ahead and jump over to you here a minute and talk a little bit about kind of how you work to kind of manage not only the code enforcement side of things, because that's an important element, but also the animal control and the community outreach, because you do a lot of clinics and things of that nature. So let's talk a little bit about the other side of the house. And I know that Lori is intimately involved with the animal control. She supervises that group as well. But I want to start with you on that side of the house.
Sure. So it's kind of nice the way we've blended this department together. It's, originally before we didn't have animal control in this department, nor did we have code enforcement. But we have over the years brought them together, and they work so well together. So when we have, like I said, our community development block grant, which has funding. We use funding for housing rehab for people that own their home and they meet a certain threshold on income. And we have a new program with utility assistance. It does not have to be own your own home. It could be an apartment. You could rent. It's a threshold, an income threshold as well. So those are two great programs. So what's nice is, and we do some community cleanup in some of our neighborhoods. We put dumpsters in those neighborhoods. And, code enforcement has worked hand in hand with that. They are dealing, sometimes with people, like Lori said, with weeds or inoperable vehicles. They have blight in their yards. That's not, there's usually other stuff going on. So it really has worked well having them in the department, and, because they can go up and talk to them and say, do you need assistance? There's a great, a great opportunity here, and we're happy to help if we can. So that's been really good. Code enforcement and animal control has worked also so well together. There's many things that kind of cross over. You may have a barking dog call or a dog waste call. Those types of things, and then all of a sudden, maybe it's a shelter issue. I mean, code enforcement has gone out for certain things and said, I think animal control needs to come in and take a look at this. So that's been really great to have them take a look and work together. We recently just did one of our code enforcement officers. We had her go through the animal control training, just so she's aware of what the process is. She's had multiple times where stray dogs have literally jumped into her truck. So open the door, they jumped right in.
The dog whisperer.
She is. So I wanted to make sure
Is that Kay?
That
Yes.
is Kay.
That's Kay.
That's
All
Kay.
right. Should have known.
We want to make sure Kay, I wanted her to be able to read dogs and understand a little bit better, so she's not, letting the wrong dog jump in her vehicle. But so she's gone through a full week training on that. So we really try to do a lot of the cross training through the department. We're a fairly small department. There's 11 of us total. So, we all want to help out where we need to make everything flow so smoothly. So.
But that's about 7 or so larger than you were just a few years ago, right?
Well, when I first started in this department, there was me and 2 others.
You and 2 others.
Yep.
So now you're 11, 12 strong.
Yeah, we're.
And you got animal control, you got code enforcement, you do spay and neuter clinics.
So we have, it's our silly season, it's our fun season coming up in September. We will work with parks this coming Saturday on the doggy paddle pool party, which is going to be great. So that'll be our first kind of dog event, Parks Dogs event, but we're going to be there supporting them. The next Saturday on the 14th, we'll have a vaccine clinic here at our town hall at the main municipal complex. And that's
You
open
guys are
to
doing
everybody.
it all. Spay and neuter clinics, vaccine clinics, dog pool parties.
Yep.
What don't you guys do?
Yeah. We have a lot of fun.
You guys are almost as fun as Parks and Recs then.
We're next door to each other, so
Right.
it has to be. We have to be fun like them. So
Very cool. Very cool. So now I'm going to hit on something. I'm going to jump over to Lori on this because your boss here mentioned something about animal waste. What kind of situation do we get involved when we're dealing with animal waste?
Wow, that's a good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, we
Kind
have
of a dirty question.
It is
but
a very
it's-
dirty question. And it can go in different directions. We have, seen properties that have, like some calls we've had in code enforcement is like some of the ranchers have cattle, they have manure sometimes, or horse manure that they kind of stockpile and store. And sometimes we have neighbors, especially in the summers, where the flies become an issue.
Yeah.
And then we get the calls. So we have to have them move that out. So we get those calls. But we also have, and like Lisa mentioned before, code and animal kind of cross over. What happens is we might have a code officer or animal control officer go to a property for a call or dog at large or a weed situation, and they look at the property and find that in the backyard there's like piles and piles of dog waste. And whether
That's
the neighbors
nasty.
call, the smell, yes. And so the neighbors can call us and we can also go look at it, but we deal with that either in code or animal, can do both. So both of us have that opportunity to have that call.
So how discreet is, so let's just use a hypothetical here. I live in a Marana neighborhood. I won't even give a neighborhood. I'll just say a Marana neighborhood. And I have a next door neighbor and they have several dogs and they never clean up the dog waste. And it stinks and it's gross but I don't know what to do about it. I can call you guys.
Yes.
Okay, but let's say I kind of like my neighbors and I don't want them to be mad at me. How discreet is this? I mean, how can you go about this and address an issue like that without making me the snitch of the neighborhood?
Well, it's kind of hard sometimes, but
Yeah.
we will ask you when we get the call from you if you've already tried to attempt to talk to your neighbors. Sometimes neighbors and neighbors have had this conversation. Hey, you got some dogs. It's the summertime and, it's kind of, humid. And sometimes the smell of just even a couple piles can be overwhelming. So we ask that maybe you have that conversation. And if you have, then we say, well, obviously didn't get resolved. So we then go, okay, well, we're going to probably follow up with them. And if we can smell it, we'll deal with it as of, hey, we got a complaint. We can smell it and we'll address it from there. If not, the possibility would be maybe we would have to include you. And I know that's something you might not feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But that would be.
Well, I personally wouldn't bother me at all, but some people
Some
might
people
not like
might,
it.
but I'm just saying. So we would have to tell them. It's almost like the barking dog call. People say, hey, my neighbor's dog's barking, but I don't want them to know I called.
Right.
So if it continues, somebody has to get involved in order for us to do some kind of an action.
Yeah.
Because we need a victim or a complainant to participate with the law enforcement aspect of it.
Right.
Same thing with the dog waste. If we can't see it or smell it, we can't deal with it. So we might need help.
Okay.
Occasionally, the complainant will let you look from their yard if we can see it. We can't walk up to somebody's yard and look over.
Yeah.
We can't do that. But if your next door or your neighbor says, yeah, you can see it clearly, you don't have to stand on anything, you don't have to do anything, you can see it from my yard, and they're willing to let you look, you can see it that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, another thing you guys have been dealing with, your crew, specifically the code enforcement folks, have been dealing with this, and it happens every couple of years during election time. The election signs. Everybody loves election signs.
Yes.
We drive around, we see them everywhere at all intersections, and when storms come along, they blow all over the place. And who's responsible for that?
The blight.
Well, I guess the people that are trying to get elected are responsible for the signs being placed where they're placed. But who's responsible for kind of policing that, if you will? Is that
that
code
would be
enforcement?
code enforcement.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So-
What are your responsibilities in that arena?
So what happens is we work with the town clerk, David Udall. We work with him. He usually puts out something to the town. Hey, it's political season. This is the sign regulations and whatnot for the political signs. So we go from there with him. But what happens is when we get the call, it's usually, hey, they're blocking visibility because everybody wants to be on those corners to get that, everybody can see me thing. So we get calls of, hey, they're blocking visibility. I can't see to make the right-hand turn, whatnot. We'll go out. We also work with traffic engineering. And we have them go out and look at the sight triangle of it to see if that sign is in the visibility. Then if so, then we'll contact that sign campaign and ask that they move the sign out of the visibility triangle. If it gets blown off or it's hanging halfway there on their post, then what happens is our code enforcement will reach out to the campaign as well, and we'll say, hey, can you like fix your sign? If not, we give you so many days and we will uproot it and we will take it down. So
do you have like a whole stockpile of election signs someplace?
Yes, we do. We hold on to them, and then after a while, we dispose of them because at this point, we're collecting too many.
So you don't bring them home and wallpaper your house with them?
No. You want to borrow? Are you looking to re-wallpaper?
No, I'm not. I don't know.
No,
Some people
we
like
do
silly
not. We
things.
house them, and sometimes campaigns call us and say, hey, do you have our sign? And we'll say, yeah, we'll leave it at the front desk over here at the administrative building, or we'll meet them down at Mock or 5100 West Ina and say, hey, we can meet you there and give that back to you.
You ever get complaints that people are stealing my signs?
We do.
Yeah.
They accuse us of stealing them.
Do they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
You're
yes,
not.
we
You don't
do.
have any interest in taking anybody's sign.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I've heard stories of people being arrested for doing that.
Oh,
So
sure. That'll happen.
I don't want that on
That'll
us.
happen.
We also have quite the stockpile of reed bar,
Yes.
T-post, because we lost all the signs. So we are continually going around the town just picking up all of those things.
The leftovers.
So they're responsible. The candidate and their campaign are responsible for removing signs. How quickly after the election is over do they have to remove the signs? They have a certain amount of time, or what does that look like?
Yes, I believe it's 10 days, if I'm not mistaken, after they lose an election. So the ones that won the primary, they get to stay up all the way through. But yes, so if they
But
lost,
then once the primary happens, they've got 10 days, win or lose, or not.
I believe it's 14.
or
14?
Yeah,
okay,
14
14
days.
days. Okay.
So
they got a couple weeks.
Yeah,
to-
but if they
to go
win,
around
they
and
get
all
to
this-
stay up.
Okay.
So the whole time, they don't have to take them down. I think overall, I think it was fairly good this time with people removing their signs.
It seemed like it,
We didn't
yeah.
have a lot that we had to take down of the people that did not move on to the general election. So
I think
All
our
right.
weather helped us there.
yeah,
We had a few windstorms that came in, and
I'm surprised
blew
they had
up a
any
few
left.
of them. Yeah, it was quite surprising.
Right.
So, anything, Lisa, that you'd like to add that your team is doing right now, or that you do on a regular basis that you think is important for our community to be aware of?
One of the goals I have this year is to really try to get more information out there on the importance of getting your cats and your dogs their rabies shots. Licensing is required by the town, but ultimately the goal and the reason we do licensing is to regulate rabies vaccine. So, we put on like the 14th is for Marana residents, it's a free rabies. You come in, you get your free rabies shot with us. If you're not in the actual town of Marana, if you're in the unincorporated county, some people come from Pinal County. We've had them come from really far distances. It's only $6. You can't get a rabies shot anywhere else for $6. So that's a big event. We try to do it at least twice a year. Humane Society comes out and does it. So we just really want to push that. I mean, people I don't think really understand the how scary the rabies is. Lori and I see it every day. We were on the list served basically with all of the animals that are tested for rabies throughout the entire county, and weekly, there'll be multiple positive bats that are positive for rabies, foxes that are positive for rabies, and if your animal is interacts or bitten by a possible rabid animal, it's a huge quarantine. Very long quarantine
That gets expensive, right?
gets very expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah, when you're quarantining your dog somewhere for
Costs you a lot more than
120 days,
$6.
quite a bit more. The first day
Right.
is, three
Yeah.
times as much as the rabies vaccine. So
Right. Very good. Lori, anything that you'd like to add and share? Because I got one last question for you guys.
I would just say, in the community, I know the code enforcement, a lot of times people don't like to see us coming. We're one of those negative people that drive around and like, oh no.
Oh, it's the code enforcement.
Yep.
Hope
they're
my
here.
weeds aren't over 6
Yep,
inches.
Yep. So they got the ruler out ready. So no, I would just like to say we do really try to work well with the community on their abatement and compliance
Yeah.
with the violations. I know our legal team really strives for us to do that as well. So we do work well with that. I know, some people don't believe that, but I do want to say that. We also offer a community trailer program that, once you get a violation with us, notice, I should say, that we have a community trailer that is available for you to utilize if you don't have those resources. We'll bring the trailer to you with the tools. You just have to do the work. And then we take and we remove it.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, man, I'm going to invite you guys over to my house.
No, we don't come with the trailer.
Okay, all right.
It's the tools, like the, rake, the hoe,
rakes,
the
hose.
shovel.
Okay.
We don't have the magic electronic stuff. It's just the old style.
Old-fashioned, dig up your weeds and throw them in the trailer.
Absolutely. So we have that available to you.
Yeah, well, I think that is an excellent point. And you guys have some amazing staff over there on the animal control side, on the code enforcement side, the whole group of folks over there that are working every day in the Community and Neighborhood Services Division. So a shout out to them because they do really work hard to work with the community. It's not your approach, and I know this for a fact because I've seen it. Your approach is not to be a hammer. Your approach is to work with people to resolve those issues that can cause long-term problems in a community. So greatly value and appreciate that. If anybody in the community thinks they want to get a hold of you, whether it's about weeds in somebody's yards or dogs or whatever the issue may be, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Well, we have our email address as well. And, that's code enforcement at maranaaz.gov.
Okay.
And then our phone number is 520-382-2520 is our code enforcement line. I do want to say one more thing before we jet off here, but I don't know if you go to our website at all. Our website, we do have on code enforcement, we do have a community calendar, which we canvass. And when we canvass, it means we go into that community and take a look, make sure that community looks well. If there's any concerns or violations, then we go ahead and address those. But we have that calendar, and if you want to know, like you live in a certain community, you can run your address in that. It'll pop up, and it will tell you when we will be in your community.
So you can let your weeds grow till right up to
Absolutely.
Hey, they aren't coming till November, honey. We can let the weeds grow.
Just pray that your neighbor doesn't call first.
Oh, that's a good point. You could always have a neighbor call.
Yep.
All right, so last thing I want to finish on is you guys have had some strange things in the way of animals over the years. Strangest animal thing that has happened in the code enforcement realm that you can think of. Anything?
Code enforcement or animal control?
I'm sorry, animal control.
Okay.
Or code enforcement. I guess either one.
I don't know if we had an animal code.
What's interesting is I have a dry erase board in my office that has all the, I call them non-domestic calls that we have gone on. Probably some of the most interesting, I would say we had a pelican.
The pelican. I remember the pelican.
The pelican made some great photo ops because it was on a frontage road off between Ina and Cotero.
A pelican in the desert.
Yep. PD had to stop traffic, and so we got some great pictures with the Marana PD cars and the pelican. So it was uninjured, so that was great. We just had the wildlife rehab facility, took it for a few days and let it rest up, I guess. It got blown off course during one of the storms.
I guess so.
So we've had that. We've had a peacock that we took almost 2 weeks to catch the peacock, and we ended up catching it on the side of the freeway. ADOT had to stop some traffic, and one of our animal control officers, Mike Eckelberger, got on the freeway to catch a peacock.
Wow.
So those are some interesting ones that we have.
I think that qualifies. All right. All right. Well, certainly appreciate Lori Shepard and Lisa Schaefer joining us today to talk a little bit about code enforcement and animal control and the other things that are being done in the Community and Neighborhood Services Division. Appreciate you so much. And to all of our listeners, we appreciate you as well. Make sure you send in our questions, any questions you have into us. We greatly appreciate that. Until next time. Submit your questions by visiting maranaaz.gov/realtalk, and we'll answer them right here. To receive notifications for new releases, remember to hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Also, remember to follow the town on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date on current news and events.